What if I told you that in the next few minutes, you're about to dive into a story so gripping, so full of twists, that it'll make you question everything you thought you knew about fate, love, and the moments that change your life forever? Picture this: a woman who's built her entire world on logic, on plans, on the idea that destiny is just a fairy tale for dreamers. She's tough, she's independent, and she's got no time for the kind of mushy stuff you see in rom-coms. But then bam! One ordinary day, a stranger walks through the door, and her whole world tilts on its axis. Sounds like the start of a love story, right? But hold on, because this isn't just about romance. There's a mystery here, a puzzle that's gonna keep you guessing, and I promise you by the end of this video, you'll have the answers you're craving. So, stick with me because I'm talking directly to you. Yeah, you, the one who's ever wondered if the universe is trying to tell you something. Let's unravel this together, and I swear, you won't want to click away until we get to the bottom of what happens when fate decides to knock. Now, let me set the scene for you. Imagine a small, cozy coffee shop in the heart of a bustling American city. Think Seattle or Boston, where the air smells like roasted beans and rain is always tapping at the windows. It's the kind of place where people come to escape, to lose themselves in a book or a laptop screen, or maybe just to watch the world go by. Our main character, Emily Harper, is one of those people. She's 32, a graphic designer with a sharp mind and an even sharper tongue. Emily's the kind of woman who's got her life together. Or at least, that's what she tells herself. She's got a sleek apartment, a tight circle of friends, and a career that's finally starting to take off. But there's something missing, something she can't quite put her finger on. Maybe you know that feeling. You're checking all the boxes, doing everything right, but deep down, there's this quiet ache, this sense that life's holding out on you. Emily doesn't believe in fate. To her, life is a series of choices, not some cosmic script written in the stars. She's practical, grounded, and if you asked her about soulmates or destiny, she'd probably roll her eyes and change the subject. But here's the thing about life. It has a way of sneaking up on you when you least expect it. And for Emily, that moment comes on a rainy Tuesday afternoon, when the bell above the coffee shop door chimes, and he walks in. Who is he? Why does his presence make her heart skip a beat, even though she's never laid eyes on him before? You're gonna want to keep watching, because this is where things start to get really interesting. Let's talk about you for a second. Yeah, you, sitting there with your phone or your laptop, maybe sipping a drink, maybe curled up on the couch. You clicked on this video because something about the title spoke to you. Maybe you're a hopeless romantic, chasing that spark of a love story that feels real. Or maybe you're a skeptic like Emily, someone who thinks fate is just a buzzword people throw around when they don't want to take responsibility for their choices. Either way, I'm betting there's a part of you that's curious. Curious about what happens when the universe decides to throw you a curveball. That's what this story is about. It's not just Emily's journey. It's yours too. It's about those moments that make you stop and wonder if there's something bigger at play. And I'm not gonna lie, this story's got it all. Romance that'll make your heart race, a mystery that'll keep you on the edge of your seat, and a question that's gonna stick with you long after the video ends. Have you ever had a moment where you felt like the world was trying to tell you something? Maybe a chance encounter, a weird coincidence, or a feeling you couldn't shake. That's what we're exploring here, and I'm inviting you to come along for the ride. Don't click away, because I'm promising you right now, you're gonna get the answers you came for, but you've gotta stay with me to the end. So, back to Emily. She's sitting at her usual table by the window, her laptop open, her coffee gone cold. She's working on a project, but her mind's wandering. She's thinking about her life, about how everything's fine but not great. She's not unhappy, but she's not exactly living the dream either. You ever feel like that? Like you're stuck in this in-between space, waiting for something to shake things up? That's where Emily's at when the door opens, and in walks this guy. Let's call him Jack for now. Tall, a little rough around the edges, with a smile that's equal parts charming and dangerous. He's not the kind of guy you'd expect to turn Emily's world upside down. He's not a movie star or a billionaire. He's just Jack. But there's something about him, something in the way he carries himself, the way his eyes seem to see right through her. When their gazes meet, it's like the air in the room shifts. Emily feels it, a jolt, a spark, something she can't explain. And here's where the mystery kicks in. Jack doesn't just walk into the coffee shop. He walks in with a purpose, like he knew she'd be there. But how? Why? And what does it mean for Emily, who spent her whole life dismissing the idea that anything happens for a reason? You're probably wondering the same thing right now, and I'm telling you, don't skip ahead. This is the kind of story where every detail matters, and I'm gonna lay it all out for you if you stick around. Let's talk about why this matters to you. I know you're busy. YouTube's got a million videos vying for your attention, and you could click away right now. But I'm asking you to stay, because this story isn't just about Emily and Jack. It's about the moments that define us, the ones that make us question what we believe. It's about love, sure, but it's also about trust, about taking risks, about figuring out whether you're brave enough to let go of control and see where life takes you. Emily's about to face that choice, and it's not gonna be easy. There's a secret tied to Jack's arrival, something that's gonna turn everything she thought she knew upside down. And I'm not just teasing you here, I'm promising you that by the end of this video, you'll know exactly what that secret is. But to get there, you've gotta follow Emily's journey, step by step. You've gotta feel what she feels, wonder what she wonders, and maybe even see a little of yourself in her. So let's make a deal. You give me your time, and I'll give you a story that's gonna stick with you. Sound good? I thought so. Let's keep going. Now, picture the coffee shop again. The rain's picking up outside, drumming against the windows, and the place is buzzing with the usual crowd. Students, freelancers, the occasional tourist. Emily's trying to focus on her work, but she can't shake the feeling that something's off. Maybe it's the weather, or maybe it's the way Jack's sitting a few tables away, stealing glances at her. She catches his eye once, twice, and each time, her stomach does this weird flip. She's not the type to get flustered, she's dealt with her fair share of smooth-talking guys, but this is different. There's something familiar about him, even though she's certain they've never met. Or have they? That's the question that's starting to creep into her mind. And it's creeping into yours too, right? You're probably thinking, come on, just tell me who he is. But I'm not gonna spoil it yet. What I will tell you is that Jack's not just some random guy. There's a reason he's here, a reason. He's looking at Emily like she's the only person in the room. And when he finally gets up, walks over to her table, and says her name, her full name, like he's known her forever, that's when everything changes. What does he say next? And why does it make Emily's heart stop? You're gonna have to keep watching, because this is the moment where fate steps in, and nothing will ever be the same again. You're still with me, right? Good, because things are about to get even wilder, and I need you here for this. Picture Emily, frozen at her table in that cozy coffee shop, the rain still tapping against the windows like it's trying to whisper secrets. Her laptop screen's gone dim, her coffee's stone cold, and this guy, Jack, has just said her full name, Emily Rose Harper, like it's the most natural thing in the world. Her heart's pounding, not just because he's standing there with that half-smile that's equal parts charming and unsettling, but because there's something in his voice, something that feels like it's pulling at a thread she didn't even know was loose. She's thinking, how does he know me? Why does this feel like it's happened before? You know that feeling when you meet someone, and it's like your soul recognizes them, even if your brain's screaming that it's impossible? That's where Emily's at right now, and I'm betting you felt something like that too. Maybe not as intense, maybe not in a coffee shop on a rainy Tuesday, but a moment where the universe seemed to nudge you and say, pay attention. Stick with me, because we're about to dig into who Emily is, why Jack's here, and what's got this whole scene dripping with mystery. I'm talking to you directly. You, the one who loves a good love story with a twist, the one who's itching to know what's gonna happen next. Don't click away, because every word is leading us to answers that'll blow your mind. Let's rewind a bit to understand Emily, because she's not just some random woman in a coffee shop. Emily Harper grew up in a small town in Ohio, the kind of place where everyone knows your business and dreams of leaving are as common as Friday night football games. Her mom was a schoolteacher, her dad a mechanic, and they raised her to believe that hard work and logic could get you anywhere. Fate. Destiny? Those were words for people who didn't have a plan. Emily was always the kid with a plan. Straight A's, art club president, a portfolio that got her a scholarship to a design school in Chicago. She moved to the city at 18 and never looked back, building a life that looked perfect on paper. A sleek apartment, a solid career, and a group of friends who'd meet up for trivia nights or brunch on Sundays. But here's the thing, and maybe you can relate. Sometimes you can have all the pieces in place, and it still feels like something's missing. For Emily, it's this quiet restlessness, this nagging sense that she's been running so fast she forgot what she's chasing. She doesn't talk about it, not even to her best friend Mia, who's always trying to set her up with the one. Emily's not looking for the one. She doesn't believe in soulmates or cosmic signs. At least, she didn't until Jack walked through that door. And now, as he's standing there, looking at her like she's the answer to a question he's been asking his whole life, she's starting to wonder if everything she's believed about life might be wrong. Now, let's talk about Jack, because he's not just a handsome stranger with a knack for shaking things up. There's something about him that doesn't quite add up, and Emily's picking up on it, even if she can't put her finger on it yet. He's in his mid-30s, with dark hair that's a little too long, like he's been too busy to get a haircut. His jacket's worn but stylish, and there's a scar above his left eyebrow that catches the light when he tilts his head. He's got this energy, calm but intense, like he's carrying a story he's not ready to tell. When he says her name, it's not just the fact that he knows it, it's the way he says it like it means something more than just a name. Emily's mind is racing. Has she met him before? Maybe at a client meeting or a networking event. But no, she'd remember someone like him. You're probably wondering the same thing right now, aren't you? Who is this guy? And why does he seem to know more about Emily than she knows about herself? Here's where the mystery deepens. Jack doesn't just know her name. When he sits down, uninvited mind you, and starts talking, he drops little details that make her skin prickle. He mentions a necklace she used to wear, one she lost years ago. He talks about a place she used to visit as a kid, a lake in Ohio she hasn't thought about in forever. It's not just creepy. It's impossible. Or is it? You're hooked now, I can tell. You want to know how Jack knows these things, and I'm promising you, we're gonna get there. But first, let's pull back and see what else is going on, because this story's got layers, and they're all about to collide. Across the coffee shop, there's another pair of eyes watching this unfold. Meet Mia, Emily's best friend since their college days, who's sitting at the counter, pretending to scroll through her phone but really keeping tabs on her friend. Mia's the opposite of Emily. Bubbly, impulsive, a firm believer in fate and all things magical. She's the one who's always dragging Emily to tarot readings or trying to convince her that the universe sends signs if you know where to look. Mia's been worried about Emily lately. She's noticed the way her friend's been pulling away, burying herself in work, dodging questions about what's really going on in her head. When Mia sees Jack approach Emily's table, she's intrigued but wary. She doesn't know why, but something about this guy sets off her radar. Maybe it's the way he moves, like he's too confident for a stranger. Maybe it's the way Emily's face changes when he speaks, like she's seen a ghost. Mia's not just a sidekick in this story. She's got her own role to play, and it's about to get complicated. See, Mia's been keeping a secret of her own, something she hasn't told Emily because she's afraid it'll push her away. It's not a big secret, not yet, but it's tied to a decision Mia made a few months ago, one that's starting to ripple in ways she didn't expect. You're probably wondering what that secret is, and how it connects to Jack's sudden appearance. I'm not gonna spill it yet, but let's just say Mia's intuition is about to be tested, and it's gonna pull her into this mystery in ways she never saw coming. Let's zoom out even further, because there's another thread weaving through this story, one that's gonna make you question everything. The coffee shop isn't just a random setting. It's got a history, a reputation among locals for being a place where strange things happen. Not haunted, exactly, but charged. People talk about it in hushed tones, swapping stories about chance encounters that changed their lives, meetings that felt like they were meant to be. There's an old barista, Clara, who's been working there for decades, and she's seen it all. Clara's in her 60s, with silver hair and eyes that seem to know more than she lets on. She's watching Emily and Jack from behind the counter, her hands moving on autopilot as she steams milk. Clara's got her own perspective on this moment, and it's not just because she's nosy. She's seen people like Jack before, strangers who walk in and stir up something bigger than themselves. She doesn't say anything, not yet, but she's making mental notes, piecing together a puzzle that's been forming. 4 years. What does Clara know? Why does she keep glancing at the old clock above the door, like she's waiting for something? You're feeling it now, aren't you? The way this story's pulling you in, making you lean closer to the screen? That's because we're building towards something big, something that ties Emily, Jack, Mia, and even Clara together in ways none of them can see yet. But you're gonna see it, I promise, if you stick with me. Back to Emily and Jack, because the tension at that table is thick enough to cut. Jack's talking now, his voice low and steady, and every word feels like a pebble dropped into a still pond, sending ripples through Emily's carefully ordered world. He's not pushy, but he's not backing off either. He asks her questions, not the usual small talk, but things that dig deeper, like he's trying to unlock something inside her. Do you ever feel like you're waiting for something but you don't know what it is? He says, and Emily freezes, because that's exactly how she's been feeling for months. She wants to brush it off, to tell him he's being weird and walk away, but she can't. There's something about him that holds her there, something that makes her want to keep listening, even though every instinct is telling her to run. You know that feeling, right? When you're standing on the edge of something scary and exciting, and you're not sure if you should jump. That's where Emily's at, and it's where I want you to be too. Because this isn't just about her, it's about you, about the choices you make when life throws you a curveball. Jack's about to say something else, something that's gonna make Emily's heart stop, but just as he opens his mouth, the coffee shop door swings open again, and someone else walks in. Someone who shouldn't be there. Someone who changes everything. Who is it? And what does it mean for Emily, Jack, and the mystery that's just starting to unravel? You're gonna have to keep watching, because this is where the story takes a turn you won't see coming. You're still here, aren't you? I knew you wouldn't click away. Not when things are getting this juicy. Let's rewind just a second to that moment in the coffee shop, where Emily's sitting across from Jack, her heart doing somersaults because this stranger somehow knows things about her he shouldn't. Her full name, her lost necklace, that lake from her childhood. The rain still hammering outside, the coffee shop's warm glow wrapping around them like a cocoon, but the air's thick with tension. Jack's about to say something else, something that could unravel everything, when the door chimes again, and every head in the place turns. A woman steps in, shaking rain off her umbrella, her boots clicking on the hardwood floor. She's in her late 20s, with sharp cheekbones and a leather jacket that says she's not here to blend in. Emily doesn't know her, but there's something about the way she scans the room, her eyes locking onto Jack like she's been looking for him. Jack's face changes. Not fear, not exactly, but something close, like he's been caught off guard. You feel that, right? That moment when you're watching a movie and the plot twists just enough to make you lean forward, whispering, "What's going on here?" That's exactly where we are, and I'm talking to you, the one who loves a good mystery, the one who's already hooked on this love story with a dark edge. Stick with me, because this new arrival is about to make things even more complicated, and I promise by the end of this video, you'll get the answers you're itching for. But for now, let's figure out who this woman is and why her presence feels like a storm rolling in. Emily's trying to keep her cool, but her mind's racing. Jack's sitting there, his hands wrapped around a coffee mug he hasn't even touched, and he's staring at this new woman like she's a ghost from his past. Emily's practical side is screaming at her to get up, walk away, leave this weirdness behind, but her curiosity, that little voice we all have when something feels bigger than us, keeps her glued to her seat. She's always been the kind of person who needs answers, who can't stand loose ends. Back in Ohio when she was a kid, she'd spend hours piecing together jigsaw puzzles with her mom, refusing to stop until every piece fit. That's Emily in a nutshell. She needs the world to make sense. But right now, nothing makes sense. Jack's cryptic comments, the way he seems to know her soul, and now this woman who's striding toward their table with a purpose that makes Emily's stomach twist. You've been there, haven't you? Caught in a moment where you're not sure if you're the main character or just a bystander in someone else's story. That's what Emily's feeling, and it's what I want you to feel too, because this story's not just about her. It's about you, about those times when life throws you a curveball and you have to decide whether to swing or duck. The woman stops a few feet away, her eyes flicking between Jack and Emily, and when she speaks, her voice is low, almost a growl. You weren't supposed to be here, she says, and Emily's not sure who she's talking to, Jack or her. But one thing's clear. This isn't a random encounter. This is fate, destiny, something bigger, and it's pulling all three of them into its orbit. Let's pull back and get to know this new woman, because she's not just a plot device. She's a key to the mystery. Her name's Lena, and she's got a story that's as tangled as Emily's and Jack's. Lena's a private investigator, the kind who's seen too much to believe in coincidences but still gets a thrill from chasing the truth. She grew up in a rough part of Chicago, learned early on that the world doesn't hand you anything unless you fight for it. She's built a career out of digging up secrets, cheating spouses, corporate scams, missing persons. But this job, the one that brought her to this coffee shop on this rainy afternoon, feels different. Lena's been tracking Jack for weeks, following a trail of clues that don't quite add up. She was hired by someone, she won't say who, not yet, but the gig was simple. Find Jack, figure out what he's up to, and report back. Except nothing about Jack is simple. Every lead Lena's followed has led to a dead end, like he's a shadow slipping through her fingers. And now, seeing him here with Emily, Lena's gut is telling her this isn't just about her client anymore. There's something bigger at play, something that ties Jack to Emily in ways Lena can't yet see. You're probably wondering what Lena's found. What's in her notebook full of scribbled notes and grainy photos? I'm not gonna spill it yet, but let's just say Lena's presence is no accident, and the secret she's chasing is about to make this love story a whole lot more complicated. You're hooked, right? I can feel you leaning in, wanting to know how Lena fits into this puzzle. Keep watching, because we're only scratching the surface. Meanwhile, Mia's still at the counter, her phone forgotten in her hand as she watches this scene unfold. Mia's always been the heart of her friend group, the one who remembers birthdays and plans impromptu road trips, but she's also got a knack for picking up on things others miss. Right now, she's picking up on the tension radiating from Emily's table, and it's making her uneasy. Mia's not just worried about her friend. She's worried about herself, too. That secret I mentioned earlier? It's starting to weigh on her. A few months ago, Mia did something she hasn't told Emily about. It wasn't anything huge, not at first. Just a small choice, a favor for someone she thought she could trust. But now, seeing Jack and this new woman, Lena, Mia's starting to wonder if that choice is catching up with her. Maybe you know what it's like to keep something from your best friend. That mix of guilt and fear that keeps you up at night. Mia's feeling that now, and it's making her question everything. Her instincts, her loyalty, even her belief in fate. She's tempted to march over to Emily's table and demand answers, but something stops her. Maybe it's the way Clara, the old barista, is watching the scene too, her eyes sharp and knowing. Clara's been quiet so far, but she's not just a background character. She's got stories of her own, stories about this coffee shop and the people who've passed through it, stories that might hold the key to what's happening right now. You're feeling the pull, aren't you? The way all these threads, Emily, Jack, Lena, Mia, Clara, are starting to weave together into something bigger, something you can't quite see yet. That's what makes this story so addictive, and I'm promising you if you stick with me, you'll get the answers you're craving. Let's talk about the coffee shop itself, because it's more than just a setting. It's practically a character in this story. This place has been around since the 1950s, its walls soaked in decades of conversations, confessions, and chance encounters. Locals call it the Crossroads, not because it's at some major intersection, but because it's got this weird reputation for being a place where lives change. Clara's heard all the stories. Couples who met here and got married, strangers who bumped into each other and ended up starting businesses together. Even people who swear they saw something impossible, like a glimpse of their future. Clara's not one for superstition, but she's been here long enough to know there's something special about the place. She's seen people like Jack before, people who walk in and shift the energy, like they're carrying a piece of the universe's plan. As she watches him now, talking to Emily while Lena hovers nearby, Clara's thinking about a moment from years ago, something she's never told anyone. It's not time to share it yet, but it's there, simmering in the back of her mind, and it's got something to do with that old clock above the door, the one that's been ticking for decades but never seems to keep the right time. You're probably wondering what Clara's hiding, and how it connects to this moment. I'm not going to tell you yet, but I will say this. The coffee shop's history is about to collide with Emily's present in a way that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about fate. Back at the table, Emily's trying to process what's happening. Jack's still talking, his voice calm but insistent, like he's trying to convince her of something she's not ready to hear. Lena's standing there, her arms crossed, her eyes boring into Jack like she's waiting for him to slip up. Emily's caught in the middle, her logical brain screaming that this is all too weird, too fast, but her heart, her heart, is telling her to listen, to stay, to see where this goes. She's thinking about her life, about all the time she's played it safe, followed the rules, built walls to keep out the chaos. But now, with Jack's words pulling at her and Lena's presence adding a new layer of tension, Emily's starting to wonder if maybe chaos is exactly what she needs. You've felt that, right? That moment when you're standing at a crossroads, not sure which path to take, but knowing that whatever you choose is going to change everything? That's where Emily's at, and it's where I want you to be too. Because this story's not just about her. It's about you, about the choices you make when the universe throws you a wild card. And just as Emily's about to ask Jack the question that's burning in her mind, who are you really? Lena steps closer, her hand reaching into her pocket, and the whole room seems to hold its breath. What's she pulling out? A photo? A letter? Something that's gonna turn this mystery upside down? You're gonna have to keep watching, because this is where the story takes a leap into the unknown, and I promise, you won't want to miss what happens next. Okay, you're still with me, right? I can feel you leaning into this story, your curiosity burning as bright as mine. Because what's happening in this coffee shop is about to take a turn you didn't see coming. Picture it, Emily sitting there, her heart hammering, her eyes darting between Jack, who's gripping his coffee mug like it's an anchor, and Lena, this private investigator who's just walked in and thrown everything into chaos. The rain outside is relentless, drumming against the windows like it's trying to break in, and the coffee shop's usual hum of chatter has gone quiet, like everyone senses something big is about to go down. Lena's hand is still in her pocket, and when she pulls it out, it's not a photo or a letter like Emily expected. It's a small, worn journal, its pages yellowed and edges frayed. She sets it on the table with a deliberate thud, her eyes never leaving Jack's. "You left this behind," she says, her voice sharp enough to cut glass, and Emily swears she sees Jack flinch, just for a split second. Left it where? When? And why does this journal feel like it's the key to everything? You're hooked, aren't you? I'm talking to you, the one who loves a good mystery, the one who's been chasing that rush of a love story with a twist that makes your jaw drop. Don't even think about clicking away, because this is where the stakes get higher, and I'm promising you, the answers you're craving are coming. But only if you stick with me to the end. Let's zoom in on Emily for a moment, because she's the heart of this story, and right now, her world is tilting in ways she never imagined. She's always prided herself on being in control, on mapping out her life like one of her design projects. Every line precise, every color intentional. But now, with Jack's cryptic knowledge of her past and Lena's sudden appearance with this journal, Emily's starting to feel like she's stumbled into someone else's script. The journal on the table is small, unassuming, but it's got this weight to it, like it's carrying secrets heavier than its pages. Emily's tempted to reach for it, to flip it open and see what's inside, but something in Lena's stare stops her cold. Lena's not just here for Jack. She's watching Emily too, like she's part of this puzzle. And here's where things get weird. Emily's starting to remember something, a fragment of a memory she's buried deep. It's from years ago back in Ohio, when she was a teenager sneaking out to that lake she loved. There was a night, hazy, dreamlike, when she met someone, a boy who talked about fate like it was real, who left her with a feeling she couldn't shake. Could that have been Jack? No, it's impossible. She'd remember him, wouldn't she? But the more she looks at him, the more that memory tugs at her, and it's making her question everything. You've felt that, right? That moment when a memory hits you out of nowhere, and you're not sure if it's real or just your mind playing tricks. That's where Emily's at, and it's pulling her deeper into this mystery, making her wonder if fate's been playing a long game with her all along. Now let's talk about the twist, because this is where the story takes a sharp left turn. Lena doesn't just set the journal down and walk away. She leans in, her voice dropping to a whisper, and says, "He's not who you think he is, Emily." Those words hit like a thunderclap, and Emily feels the air rush out of her lungs. Jack's face hardens, but he doesn't deny it. He just sits there, his eyes locked on Lena's, like they're in a silent standoff. Emily's mind is spinning. Not who she thinks he is. What does that even mean? Is Jack lying about something? Is he someone else entirely? Or is Lena the one playing games, trying to stir up trouble for reasons Emily can't see? The journal's still sitting there, unopened, and it's like a ticking bomb, holding answers that could change everything. Lena's not done though. She slides the journal toward Emily, daring her to open it. "Go ahead," she says. "See for yourself." Emily's hand hovers over the cover, her pulse racing, but before she can make a move, Jack reaches out, his fingers brushing hers, and says, "Don't. Not yet." His voice is soft, almost pleading, and it's the first time Emily's seen him look vulnerable. "You're feeling it now, aren't you? That mix of suspense and curiosity, that need to know what's in that journal and why it's got everyone on edge. I'm telling you, this is the kind of twist that makes a love story more than just romance. It's a mystery that's going to keep you glued to this video, because the truth is closer than you think." Across the room, Mia's practically vibrating with anxiety. She's still at the counter, her phone forgotten, her eyes darting between Emily, Jack, and Lena. Mia's not just worried about her friend anymore. She's worried about her own secret, the one she's been carrying like a stone in her chest. A few months ago, Mia got tangled up with someone. A guy she met at a bar, someone charming and persuasive who asked her to do a favor. It seemed harmless at the time. Pass along a message, make a call, nothing big. But now, watching this scene unfold, Mia's starting to wonder if that favor was part of something bigger, something connected to Jack and Lena. She's kicking herself for not telling Emily sooner, But how do you confess something when you're not even sure what you've done? Mia's always believed in destiny, in the idea that things happen for a reason, but right now that belief is shaking. She's thinking about bolting, about grabbing Emily and dragging her out of this coffee shop before things get worse, but she can't move. Clara, the old barista, catches her eye from behind the counter, and there's something in her expression. Something knowing, like she's seen this all before. Mia doesn't know Clara well, but she's heard the rumors about this place, about how it's a magnet for strange encounters. Is this one of those moments? Is Mia caught up in something bigger than she realized? You're wondering the same thing, I bet, the way all these pieces are starting to fit together, but not quite. Keep watching, because Mia's subplot is about to collide with Emily's in a way that's gonna make your head spin. Clara's perspective adds another layer to this mystery, and she's not just a bystander. She's been wiping down the counter, listening to the hum of the coffee shop, but her mind's elsewhere. That journal Lena put on the table? Clara's seen one like it before years ago, when another stranger came through these doors and left a mark on this place. She's never told anyone the full story. Not the regulars, not even her husband when he was alive. It's about a night in the 90s, when a young man sat in this very coffee shop, writing in a journal just like that one. His face haunted, like he was running from something. Clara never found out what happened to him, but she remembers the way the air felt that night, the same way it feels now, like the universe is holding its breath. She's watching Emily, Jack and Lena, and she's thinking about that old clock above the door, the one that's been off-kilter for years. It's ticking now, louder than usual, and Clara's starting to wonder if it's trying to tell her something. You know that feeling when you walk into a room and it feels like history's watching you? That's what Clara's feeling, and it's what I want you to feel too. This coffee shop isn't just a backdrop. It's a place where fate weaves its threads, and Clara's starting to see the pattern. She's not ready to step in yet, but she's keeping track, and her story's gonna matter before this is over. You're hooked on that, right? The idea that even the quiet ones, the ones in the background, might hold the key to the whole mystery. The stakes are higher now, and Emily's feeling it in her bones. Jack's hand is still on hers, his touch warm but urgent, and Lena's staring at them both, her expression unreadable. The journal's sitting there, practically daring Emily to open it, but she's torn. Part of her wants to run, to go back to her safe, predictable life where strangers don't know her secrets and private investigators don't show up with ominous warnings. But another part, the part that's been restless for months, maybe years, is screaming at her to stay, to dive into this mystery and see where it leads. She's thinking about her life, about all the time she's played it safe, avoided risks, kept her heart locked up tight. Maybe you've been there, standing at a crossroads, knowing that one choice could change everything. That's where Emily's at, and it's where this story's headed, toward a climax that's gonna shake her world to its core. But just as she's about to reach for the journal, the coffee shop door swings open again, and this time, the person who walks in makes everyone freeze. It's not just another customer. It's someone who knows Jack, someone who's been looking for him, and the look on their face says this isn't a happy reunion. Who are they? And what do they know that could blow this whole mystery wide open? You're not going anywhere, are you? Because this is where the story rockets towards something you'll never see coming, and I'm begging you to stay with me, because the next twist is gonna leave you speechless. You're still right here with me, aren't you? I can feel your anticipation, that itch to know how this tangled web of fate and mystery unravels, because we're standing on the edge of something huge. The coffee shop's air is electric, the rain outside pounding like a heartbeat, and everyone's eyes are on the new arrival who's just stepped through the door, a man in his 40s, broad-shouldered, with a face weathered by time and secrets. His gaze locks onto Jack, and there's no mistaking the recognition, the kind that carries years of history, maybe even pain. Emily's heart is racing, caught between Jack's pleading touch, Lena's journal on the table, and this stranger who's about to blow the lid off everything. You're feeling it too, right? That moment when a love story turns into something bigger, something that makes you question destiny itself. I'm talking to you, the one who clicked on this video for a romance but stayed for the suspense, the one who's been waiting for the truth behind Jack's cryptic knowledge and Lena's warnings. Don't even think about looking away, because we're heading into the climax of this mystery. And I promise, the answers you've been chasing are about to come crashing down, with a twist that'll leave you speechless. Let's see who this man is and how he's about to change everything for Emily, Jack, and everyone in this room. The man doesn't hesitate. He strides toward the table, his boots heavy on the floor, and says, "Jack, it's time to stop running." His voice is gruff, like he's been carrying those words for years, and Emily feels a chill that has nothing to do with the rain-soaked air. Jack's hand slips from hers, his face pale, and for the first time, he looks like a man caught in a trap. Lena's expression doesn't change, but her fingers tighten around the edge of the table, like she's bracing for impact. Emily's mind is a whirlwind. She's been trying to piece together Jack's impossible knowledge of her past, Lena's ominous warning that he's not who she thinks, and now this man, who seems to know Jack better than anyone. The journal's still there, unopened, its secret screaming to be let out. Emily's always been the one to solve puzzles, to make sense of chaos, but right now, she's drowning in questions. Who is this man? Why does Jack look like he's seen a ghost? And what does any of this have to do with her? You've been there, haven't you? That moment when life throws you into a story you didn't sign up for, and you have to decide whether to keep digging or walk away. Emily's not walking away, and neither are you, because this is where the truth starts to spill out, and it's gonna shake everything you thought you knew about this love story. Let's meet this new player, because he's the key to the climax. His name's Daniel, and he's not just some random guy. He's Jack's older brother, though you'd never guess it from the way they're staring at each other, like strangers with a shared wound. Daniel's a history professor, the kind who spends his days digging into the past, but today, he's here to unearth something far more personal. Years ago, Jack and Daniel were close. Two brothers navigating a tough childhood in a small town not unlike Emily's. But something happened, a falling out, a betrayal, a secret that drove a wedge between them. Daniel's been looking for Jack ever since, following whispers and rumors, and when Lena, the private investigator, contacted him with a lead, he knew he couldn't stay away. The journal on the table? It's Jack's from a time when he was young and reckless, when he believed in fate so fiercely it almost destroyed him. Inside its pages are entries about a girl he met one summer night by a lake in Ohio. A girl who changed everything. Emily's breath catches as Daniel starts talking, his words slow and deliberate, piecing together a story that feels like a punch to her gut. That girl was her. That hazy memory she's been chasing, the one of a boy by the lake who talked about destiny? It was Jack. They met, just once, when they were teenagers, a fleeting moment that left a mark on both of them. You're feeling the weight of that, right? The way fate can pull two people together across years and miles, only to throw them into a mystery that's bigger than either of them. Here's where the climax hits, and it's a doozy. Daniel doesn't just reveal that Jack and Emily met years ago. He drops a bombshell that changes everything. The journal isn't just a diary. It's a record of Jack's search for Emily, a search that spanned a decade. After that night by the lake, Jack became obsessed with the idea that Emily was his destiny, that their meeting wasn't chance but a sign from the universe. He wrote about her, tracked her through fragments of information, even followed her to Chicago, though he never dared approach her until now. Lena's role? She wasn't hired by some random client. She was working for Daniel, who wanted to find Jack before his obsession went too far. But there's more. Lena's been digging into Emily's life too, and she's found something in her past. Something Emily's buried so deep she doesn't even remember it. It's not just about that night at the lake. It's about a promise Emily made. A promise that's tied to Jack's journal and the reason he's here now. Emily's hands are shaking as she finally opens the journal, her eyes scanning the pages, and there it is. A sketch of her necklace, the one she lost years ago, with a note in Jack's handwriting that says, "Find her. She's the one." Emily's world tilts. She doesn't believe in fate, but how do you explain this? You're on the edge of your seat, aren't you? This love story's turned into a mystery so deep it's rewriting everything Emily thought she knew, and you're right there with her, piecing it together. The resolution starts to unfold, but it's not clean or simple. Life never is. Emily's reeling from the journal, from the realization that Jack's been carrying her in his heart for years, but she's also angry. Why didn't he tell her? Why stalk her life instead of just talking to her? Jack tries to explain, his voice raw, saying he was afraid she'd reject him, that he'd built her up into something so big he couldn't bear to lose her again. Daniel steps in, his tone softer now, admitting he's partly to blame. He pushed Jack away after their falling out, leaving him to chase this idea of destiny alone. Lena, for her part, confesses she got too caught up in the job, digging into Emily's past without considering the consequences. And Emily? She's forced to confront her own walls, the way she's kept people at arm's length to avoid getting hurt. She looks at Jack, at the boy from the lake who's now a man sitting across from her, and she realizes that maybe fate isn't about cosmic plans. It's about choices, about showing up even when you're scared. They don't fall into each other's arms. This isn't that kind of love story. But they start talking, really talking, for the first time. Mia, who's been watching this whole time, finally steps forward, her secret spilling out. She'd been contacted by Daniel months ago, asked to keep an eye on Emily, not knowing it was tied to Jack. She's crying, apologizing, and Emily forgives her, because that's what friends do. Clara, the old barista, smiles from behind the counter, her own memories of the coffee shop's magic settling into place. The clock above the door ticks on, its rhythm steady now, like it's satisfied with the way things are unfolding. You're feeling that closure, right? The way the pieces are coming together, but there's still one more surprise waiting. Here's the final twist, the one that'll leave you in awe. As Emily and Jack talk, Daniel pulls out a letter from his pocket, one he's been holding on to for years. It's from their mother, written before she passed away, and it's addressed to Jack. In it, she talks about a moment when she was young, when she met a girl in this very coffee shop. A girl who gave her a necklace as a kindness, a girl who changed her life. That girl was Emily's mother. The necklace Jack wrote about? It wasn't just Emily's, it was a thread connecting their families across generations, a symbol of moments that ripple through time. Emily's jaw drops, and so does yours, because this isn't just about two people meeting by chance. It's about a legacy of love and connection that's been weaving through their lives long before they were born. The coffee shop, with its strange magic, was the crossroads where their stories began, and now, it's where they're choosing what comes next. Emily looks at Jack, the journal still in her hands, and for the first time, she feels something shift inside her. A willingness to believe, not in fate as a force, but in the power of showing up for the people who matter. You're tearing up a little, aren't you? I am too, because this is what makes a story unforgettable. The realization that love, mystery, and destiny aren't just about the big moments, they're about the choices we make every day. So, what's the takeaway? Maybe it's that fate isn't something that happens to you. It's something you meet halfway. Keep that with you, and maybe, just maybe, you'll start noticing the little moments in your own life that feel like they were meant to be.